Part 2, there it is. Alright, Shadow Isles Part 2, Old Lore. Let's go. What's this? Let's see. Carthus. 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 Elise. 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 Alright, Carthus and Elise got it.
The Shadow Isles are places of legends. They are feared by most, but others seem to be fascinated with the mysterious fog-shrouded land ruled by death itself. Many people who crave power look at the Shadow Isles like a place that they could hold the key to their biggest goals. This only helps build up the Isles' reputation. Carthus is a perfect example of a person who found a source of his power in the mysterious land of the dead. He's now a lich, a terrible creature suspended between life and death, as he has given away his life in exchange to magic of oblivion.
He's giving away his life in exchange for death.
Even as a child, Carthus had been fascinated by death and suffering. He was a weird child who preferred to spend his time
he was
alone,
a weird child.
and his friends were always afraid of the creepy child.
Yep.
Not only children could see something weird about Carthus, most adults were concerned about the boy's character and many curious actions he'd been taking.
Like, why is he burning rats alive? You know? Why is he going around with a magnifying glass and burning ants and burning ant colonies? This child is weird. Oh, wait, no, most children do that.
Since an early age, the boy had been sneaking his way into funerals of
He used to
strangers
do that, at least in the 90s. I don't know about now.
Talk to tombstones, or carefully watch the suffering of animals, paying great attention to details. Young Carthus had even started his own morbid collection of dead animals that he could find. Shadows had become his only company early on, and it's not changed ever since.
Okay.
Growing up, Carthus had to work in society somehow, so he volunteered to take care of sick and wounded.
Gotta make money, man.
He did not want to help them, however. He wanted to get closer to them, so he could
See
watch
them
closely as they died.
Yep.
One by one, his obsession with death did not get any better due to this action. He'd been going deeper and deeper into madness. He's even set up an elaborate plan to fake his death in order to watch his own funeral. It's worked perfectly, and the results are fascinating.
I want to do that. I would love to fake my death to see how people react. But again, I would want to go back in time to like cancel it. So I just want to know how people would react if I died. But it's like you can't do that and expect everything to be okay after you come out and be like, yo, yeah, I faked it. I just want to see how you guys will react. Meanwhile, like, your grandma has a heart attack, your dad starts drinking more, or some shit.
Carthus. He was thrilled by the feeling of his relatives mourning his death. They, however, did not seem to share his enthusiasm. When they discovered that Carthus was not dead and he played them all, they decided it would be better to just cut loose from him.
Yeah.
Lonely, isolated from any living beings,
Makes
Carthus
sense.
spent his days studying ancient books.
That's a very bad prank. It was a social experiment.
Describing dark rituals and death magic, including many examples that people fear to even talk about. And with every day, Carthus felt more attracted to it. Dark, deadly spells described in the book were beautiful to him. That is what he was looking for his whole life. Control over the power of death. Listening to the tales of travelers, he became fascinated with the Shadow Isles, lifeless land covered in eternal darkness. Carthus liked what he managed to gather about the Isles, and what seemed like a nightmare for anyone else was a perfect place for Carthus to be. He's always been lured into the single mystical moment of death. Ghosts of the Shadow Isles, cursed by an unknown death. It was like some frozen, the perfect stillness of death, forever. Carthus gave everything he could to cross over the veil of mist and abandon his mortal life. He's kneeled down and sacrificed himself willingly, giving his life away in exchange for undeath. He's become the embodiment of his own obsession, a manifestation of death. An undying lich, with tools to bring anyone clarity and purpose that only death can give. Elise, the Spider Queen, has gained her powers from the mysterious Shadow Isles as well, and just like Carthus, it made her understand how different it is to look at the death from the perspective of a mortal person, and someone much more powerful than that. Elise, however, does not owe her power to the death, but an ancient spider god that has chosen the Shadow Isles as its home. She paid her first visit to the Isles a long time ago, for unknown reasons. She felt attracted to the mysterious ghastly land, like something had been calling her there. Followed by one companion, she has made her way deep into the mists and onto the island itself. The closer she was getting to the heart of the land, the more she felt welcome, like it was her home. Hypnotized by the eerie beauty of this place's dead trees, plants frozen in their existence, somewhere between life and death, moved by the non-existent wind. Every second spent here, every ghostly spectral flower that Elise touched, had been causing to feel attracted to this place. This place was dead, empty, scary, but yet she fitted well here. Hearing a spider song, as she called it, she knew that was her destiny. That's why she came here. Ignoring her companion dying at her feet, she embraced the spider's blessing, accepting it into herself. She's become one with the god, Vilemore. In her last words, she told her companion that she had nothing to fear, that he was going to a better place.
Alright.
After those events, Elise had disappeared for a few years, just to re-emerge as an elegant, charismatic leader of one of the many cults on Valoran. Using her beauty and cunning, she would lead innocent men and women into accepting her views and joining her church. She has gathered many acolytes hungry to be blessed by the god's favor. Nobody even thought about questioning the Spider Queen's leadership over the cult. She had them in her web of lies, stuck so deep that they could not find a way out anymore. Promising her followers to lead pilgrimage into the altar of the Spider God on the Shadow Isles, she has gathered the best of them and led them into the unfriendly lands. She had chosen the most devout ones to join her, those that would not leave her side even if they would have to die.
Show them
exactly why she chose them. None of the disciples wanted to fail their great leader, and they have bravely followed Elise deeper and deeper into the dead land, until they reached a great cave shrouded in webs. Surprised by lack of any visible temple or shrine, the acolytes of the cult started to look around the cave looking for anything standing out. They didn't understand what was happening. When Elisa raised her arms in a triumphant pose, turning to the crowd, they could witness spider legs growing out of the High Priestess's arms. In panic, they tried to run, to get away from this beast. They could not do anything. Caught in the sticky magical web, trapped and helpless, they were a sacrifice that Elise prepared for the Spider God.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just like her disciples wanted, they could finally gain their God's biggest blessing. Death.
Yeah, brother.
When the massive undead spider had had his dinner, Elise approached him with the greatest of care, extracted its venom. Slowly drinking it, she could feel life flowing through her veins, filling her with new energy as her mortality had been delayed because of the sacrifice she made for her god. This was not the first time this had happened, and it will happen many times in the future. Fortunately for the time being, Elise has enough volunteers in her cult ready to follow in her footsteps of her colleagues, who have chosen to serve the Spider God's sacred home.
It's okay, she's doing the world a favor and taking care of all the simps, man. Holy hell, alright. So at least this is a pretty cool story. Karthus is just... I guess Karthus is actually like pretty okay as well. I mean, just a weird child developed into a weird dude that likes to die a lot. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna go next into part 3. Let's see who it is in part 3.